What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff here going on here already this week. Also, we have a major deadline here by Friday this week that we'll go over here in this video. If you're new to this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on our new videos here that come out every day. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right in. Well, some very interesting news came out last night. A lot of people have some, back and forth opinions on the prisoner exchange of Brittney Griner versus with the Merchant of Death, Victor Boot. And a lot of people thought it was a good idea. A lot of people were critical of it. A lot of people thought, hey, we should have got her earlier. She's an Olympic medalist, two-time gold medalist. She's an American. We should have got her earlier. A lot of people also thought, well, we should have got the Marine, Paul Whelan instead. Or a lot of people thought we should have got both of them instead. A lot of people thought, well, we should have not got her. We should have got the Marine instead. A lot of people said, we should have not got her because, there was just the one time that she didn't stand for the national, or she didn't come out for the national anthem because of whatever reason. So a lot of criticism over this, and a lot of people. Well, here's some interesting stuff here that came out this morning. Well, first, yesterday or so, Paul Whelan, the U.S. Marine or ex-U.S. Marine that's over there in Russia, who's also serving a sentence for being captured on supposed espionage crimes in Russia. And Russia has also, well, they've maybe tried to trade him for prisoner exchange in the past. Well, we just got some brand new information on this. Well, first, yesterday, Paul Whelan's brother criticized Trump for Trump not getting him out for 2 years. Because remember, he was captured in 2018 and Trump could have got him out for 2 years. Well, here's what Trump had to say. He came out and actually spoke about this. Check this out. Yeah, Trump says he turned down the deal to release the Marine, Paul Whelan, late last night here. Here's what he says. Here's the details. Let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, so former President Trump on Sunday said last night he turned down a deal to release former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who's been detained by Moscow since 2018 in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Boot during his time in the White House. Now, why do you think this is? What reason do you think he turned down the prisoner exchange? I'll give you a second to think about that. So apparently there was a prisoner exchange offered for the U.S. Marine for Russian arms dealer Victor Boot. Okay, so Trump says, quote, I turned down a deal with Russia for a one-on-one swap with the so-called Merchant of Death for Paul Whelan. I wouldn't have made the deal for 100 people in exchange for someone that has killed untold numbers of people with his arms deals, Trump said on his Truth Social. Wow. And Trump says more here. I'll get to this here in a second. So let's break this down here. So Trump passed on the deal to exchange him. Now it's been 4 more years. So Victor Bout stayed in there for 4 more years. Also, I want to mention here, because Biden mentioned this. Victor, or actually it was Biden's the secretary of the other guy we had on the show here. Victor Bout is going to be released in 6 years, so it's not like he's going to stay in prison forever at this point. So he is going to be released in 6 years. Okay, so there is that as well. So let me know your thoughts here on this. So Trump passed on releasing the U.S. Marine in exchange for Victor Bout, the arms deal. Now he didn't actually, kill the Americans, personally himself per se. If you get where I'm going here, he was an arms dealer that like trafficked the weapons and stuff, sold them per se. Um, if you know where I'm going here. Here's the rest of what Trump said. You're going to find this very interesting. Trump criticized the deal as soon after the news broke of Griner's release, saying that Wayland should have been freed instead. Now, here's where it gets really confusing. So he's saying Wayland should have been freed instead for Victor Bout, but he didn't free Victor Bout. Look at what it says. Trump criticized the deal soon after the news broke of Griner's release, saying Wayland should have been freed instead. But remember, he just said he passed on the exact same deal. Are you confused as I'm confused? You can't make this stuff up. So I'm totally confused. Now I get that he's going to criticize Biden on anything that Biden does. There's going to be immediate criticism, but he passed on the exact same deal. Also, here's what he says next. The Biden administration had said that Russia was unwilling to include Wayland in a swap for Bout. Trump said Sunday, although he turned down the deal with Moscow, he would have gotten Paul out, though he didn't explain why he wasn't able to do so in almost 2 years. Trump says, quote, "The deal for Griner is crazy and bad. The taking wouldn't have even happened during my administration, but they did take Paul Wayland during his administration. But if it did, I would have gotten her out fast." There's so much to dissect here. He says the deal for Griner is crazy and bad. The taking wouldn't have even happened during my administration. But remember, they took Paul Wayland during his administration, and he's still there. So, when he says stuff like this, like, it doesn't even make sense to me because, like, they took Paul Wayland during his administration, and like, it's just like he acts like this kind of stuff wouldn't happen if he was president, but clearly this stuff did happen when he was president. He said, "But if I did, I would have gotten her out fast." But like, he didn't get Paul Wayland out fast, and now he's saying he would have gotten Brittney Griner out fast. But he's criticizing the deal that Griner got out, and it should have been for Wayland, but he passed on the deal of the Merchant of Death for Wayland. Please, somebody make sense of this for me. Because if this is not the most confusing, convoluted thing, I'm not sure what to make of it. And it's just like, wow. I'm just, the thing about, you know, the thing about Putin, I think we all need to start realizing, and Russia, they really don't care who's president. I get that Trump wants to think that, oh, if he's president, that they're not gonna do things like this. But I think we all need to realize they did do things like this. They took Paul Wayland during his presidency, didn't give him back, and he's still there. He's still there. And Trump says, "Oh, this wouldn't have happened during my presidency," but it did. It did. And he wasn't able to get him out either. Now maybe there was this prisoner exchange, like he said, but apparently Trump passed on it. So, I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this, but this is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm not even sure what to make of it. A lot of people were criticizing Biden for leaving Wayland there when Trump actually left him there as well and actually had the choice to get him out and actually left him there as well. So now I'm not even sure what to make of this. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. You can see here, former President Trump's White House national security official Fiona Hill said Sunday that the deal to swap Boot for Wayland was a possibility while Trump was in office. At that particular time, I also have to say here that President Trump wasn't especially interested in engaging in that swap for Paul Wayland. He was not particularly interested in Paul's case in the way that one would have thought he would be. This is Trump's White House national security official. And they said this on Face the Nation. Paul Wayland's brother also accused the Trump administration of not appearing interested in his case. David Wayland said, quote, "I think the first 2 years, partly I think the Trump administration was not prepared or not interested in working on wrongful detention cases. The Biden administration is much more engaged in wrongful detention cases." Yeah, so there you go. We're learning more of this stuff by the hour, seems like. Next up, California Governor Gavin Newsom announces a bill to penalize oil companies that have engaged in price gouging. What impact would a windfall profit tax have on drivers? We'll take a look at response from the gas industry as California looks to implement one. Remember here that the United Kingdom actually did pass, the whole United Kingdom here, actually passed a one-off windfall profit gas tax because of how high gas prices and diesel prices are all across, well, the world, but in this case, the United Kingdom. So they got tired of it too. You could see here they did it to ease the pain of soaring household energy bills, because what they do is they actually reimburse some of the money from the windfall tax back to low and middle income households. Yeah, because they got tired of gas and oil companies price gouging, because that's what the United Kingdom thinks is going on. It's what a lot of people think is going on. This happened back in May and June. You could see the article right here. What's interesting here is California Governor Gavin Newsom, when he announced this, I remember going over this here on the channel. It was like maybe like a month or two ago. Remember when the California gas prices spiked up like $1.50 more than like the rest of the country? I mean, remember, California gas is always more expensive because they have just higher gas taxes. They have that special blend of fuel as well. So California gas prices are always more expensive. California drivers know this. But remember, they spiked up like $1.50 in like a span of like a week or a couple weeks or something like that. And we were going over here on the channel. It was, yeah, literally a head scratcher. But yeah, yeah, the gas prices had spiked in California and only California, and the gas and oil companies were like, "Oh yeah, it's because some of the oil refineries are under maintenance. Yeah, we're really sorry about that. Um, I guess you guys are gonna have to pay much higher gas prices and diesel prices for the time being. Yeah, sorry about that." And people were like, "What?" I know, you can't make this stuff up. This is the games that oil and gas companies pull. Don't forget that they haven't built a new oil refinery, not a single one in the US since in 50 years. It's since the 70s. They haven't built a single oil refinery in the US since the 70s. And they've actually closed down several of them. I think they have actually sold some of them to Mexico. Um, I know you can't make this stuff up. And the CEO of some of these corporations, I can't remember what it was. It was maybe Chevron or something like that. Said, I'll bring it up here. Yeah, here it is. No new refineries likely ever to be built again in the U.S. Chevron's CEO warns because they just don't want to pay for it. They don't think it's they don't think it's a good use of their money. But meanwhile, don't forget they spend billions and billions of dollars on stock buybacks. So they'll spend money on that stock buybacks, but so they'll probably never build another refinery ever again. So our refineries are just dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. So we're having less and less and less over the course of time, which means gas prices keep going up and up and up. And they'll blame it on anybody they can. They'll blame it on the president, Congress, Democrats, Republicans, you know, government policy, this, that, and the other thing. But the reality of it is they know exactly what they're doing. They just don't want to spend the money where it's needed, right? Well, California governor says, this is from California governor, and other states may follow this as well. We'll have to see what happens here. Breaking news. We just announced America's first gouging penalty on big oil. We will not be gaslit by oil companies that are keeping gas prices high while they rake in record profits. Time for them to answer for ripping you off. So we'll see what happens with this. Congresswoman Katie Porter just showed that corporate greed is actually 54% of inflation. Take a look.
According to this chart, what is the biggest driver of inflation during the pandemic? The dark blue is the recent period.
It would be corporate profits.
And what is that percentage?
It is 54%, and that number does stay that level of high if you update that number to more recent numbers as well.
So over half of the increased prices people are paying are coming from increases in corporate profits.
Yes, the unit price index is reflected in corporate profits as opposed to other costs.
And how does that compare to historically to other periods of inflation or over other periods of economic time?
As reflected there and in other analysis, it is significantly higher in this recovery, 11.5%.
And what is it today?
53%.
So I want to make sure everyone in America understands this chart. What is a unit labor cost?
The cost, wages and associated
Right.
work costs.
So we could just wages. What is a non-labor input cost?
A variety of things, including maintenance and investments.
Okay, so I have to buy the stuff to make the widget. I have to have a factory. I have to keep the lights on. I have to hire someone to make the widget. That's this stuff. And this is what I add on top.
Yeah, so you can see here that during this recession and then this pandemic, these corporations have actually increased their profits substantially, 54%. So when you're wondering why inflation has gone up so much, at least one reason is because they're just raising their prices more so than their costs, significantly more so than their costs. They've just found a way to say, hey, now's a good time to raise our profit margins and say, well, it's because of inflation. We have to. You see it. They've done the studies. They've done the math. They've done the data. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So this is why I show you guys this stuff here. So, the mainstream media doesn't tell you this stuff. And this is why I when I see this, I share it with you so you guys are aware of this stuff. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day on a daily basis. Click the bell icon after you subscribe. New videos are at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. Also, you can click here to see a really important thing that is coming here on December 14th. Really important announcement. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.